There are people in this country who are here with the full intent to do us harm. They came across our borders illegally. 358 of them crossed the northern border into New York. Not all of them into New York, but some of them came through New York. There's arms smuggling across the Canadian border into New York. And you're shielding these people. Are you aware that if just 0.5% of the estimated 15 million, 14.7 million to be exact, that came into our country illegally during the Biden administration, if just 0.5% are tied to criminal organizations or terrorist organizations, that constitutes more than the combined active duty forces of the Army and Marines? Does that not strike you as something that should be of great concern to us?
Hey there, Patriots. Welcome back to American Mindset, where we break down the issues threatening the very fabric of our great nation. Today, we're diving into an absolutely shocking and, frankly, infuriating congressional hearing. Representative Gary Palmer from Alabama grilled several governors who are running sanctuary states. And let me tell you, the answers, or lack thereof, are downright dangerous. So, buckle up, because this is a fight for our national security, our Constitution, and our future. Let's watch the video.
This is Mr. Palmer from Alabama.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First of all, I want to point out that under Article 6 of the Constitution, the Supremacy Clause, that by declaring your states sanctuary states, you declared your intent to violate federal law. With that, are you aware that illegal aliens with known ties to terrorist organizations are now residing in the United States? That's a yes or no. Quickly, yes or no. Governor Walz.
I don't have firsthand knowledge, but I would assume
You should
yes.
have. Governor Pritzker.
I know that's been alleged. I don't have firsthand knowledge myself.
You should have. Governor Hochul.
My Joint Terrorism Task Force has surveillance.
Ma'am, that's a yes
We're
or
aware.
no. Either you know or you don't.
We are aware.
That's amazing, considering that the Customs Border Patrol reported just in fiscal year 23, 736 encounters with illegal aliens with ties to terrorist organizations. And there's it's 2.2 million estimated gotaways. We have no idea how many known terrorists are in our country. Do you support the arrest and deportation of illegal aliens with ties to terrorist organizations? So yes or no? Governor Walz.
If due process is given, certainly.
Governor Pritzker.
Exactly. We need
Governor
due
Hochul.
process before we
Hochul.
arrest people.
Yes or no?
Anyone involved in a crime, we
Ma'am,
cooperate.
yes or no?
We cooperate when any
Ma'am, yes
crimes
or
are-
no?
We cooperate
You
with any
cannot
crimes.
give a straight answer, and the answer is you're giving safe harbor to people with ties to terrorist organizations. Are you aware of that? Let me tell you, you're shielding members of known terrorist organizations such as MS-13, Tren de Aragua, Brown Pride Azteca, Barrio Azteca, Serenos, which is otherwise known as Sur 13, and the 18th Street Gang. Those are designated terrorist organizations. Many of these are the people responsible for bringing fentanyl in that's killed, along with other drugs, killed over 100,000 people per year. We're no longer in a war on drugs. We're involved in a war with drugs. These are casualties. Are you aware that the Department of Homeland Security identified over 400 illegal aliens who were smuggled into the United States with the help of an affiliate of ISIS? Are you aware of that, Governor Walz?
Congressman, I don't have direct knowledge of that.
Well, I'll help you. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to enter to the record article from NBC News. DHS identifies over 400 migrants brought in the United States by an IS-affiliated human smuggling network. Is that a problem?
Without objections ordered.
Does that raise any concern for you?
None of us want terrorists in this country.
Then
Congressman.
why are you shielding people here from being picked up by our ICE agents, referring to this as a Gestapo organization? You know, I never want to get up on another morning like I did on September 11th, 2001. There are people in this country who are here with the full intent to do us harm. They came across our borders illegally. 358 of them crossed the northern border into New York. Not all of them into New York, but some of them came through New York. There's arms smuggling across the Canadian border into New York. And you're shielding these people. Are you aware that if just 0.5% of the estimated 15 million, 14.7 million to be exact, that came into our country illegally during the Biden administration, if just 0.5% are tied to criminal organizations or terrorist organizations, that constitutes more than the combined active duty forces of the Army and Marines? Does that not strike you as something that should be of great concern to us?
Since you raised New York, I'd like to answer.
Are you
We
aware?
cooperate fully with all investigations, particularly terrorists. I mean, you
Well, how do
cannot
you know
say
if they're
9/11 and not invoke
How do you
incredible
know,
emotion
Governor
from us.
Hochul, that they're terrorists if you don't allow people to be picked up who came here illegally to at least give an account for their presence?
We say they
How do
should
you
be vetted
know
at the
if they're
border.
not part of that 400 that we know came in through an ISIS-affiliated human smuggling operation? You don't know. You're not even looking into that.
You're pointing to an abject failure of the federal government to do its job to secure
what
our
I'm
borders.
pointing out here is that your sanctuary policies now constitute a threat to our national security.
We cooperate in all criminal investigations.
You are engaged
Always
in
have, always will.
operations against federal government attempts to enforce federal law that I think now constitutes a threat to our national security, and you're in violation of federal law.
That's 100% false.
And charges for obstruction should be brought against each one of you for doing this. I'll leave that up to the Department of Justice. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Chair now recognizes Ms. Crockett from Texas.
Mr. Chairman.
And Mr. Chair,
Point of order, point of order. That was intimidation of the witness.
Do you have a point of inquiry?
Yes, I have a point of inquiry.
State your point.
Raising the prospect of charges against witnesses is a form of intimidation, is it not? Thank you. Thank you, and I withdraw the question. I appreciate it.
Chair recognizes Ms. Crockett.
Now, if you haven't heard this yet, you're going to want to sit down. Representative Palmer called out sanctuary states for what they really are, state-sponsored violations of federal law. He even invoked the Supremacy Clause of the Constitution, which makes it clear, federal law is the law of the land. But these governors, they're more worried about protecting criminal illegal aliens than the safety of you and your family. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. 736 illegal aliens with known terrorist ties caught at the border in fiscal year 2023 alone. 736. And that's just the ones we caught. On top of that, there are 2.2 million gotaways. That's 2.2 million people who slipped into our country without a trace. How many of them are tied to terror groups? How many of them are smuggling fentanyl? How many of them are planning something worse? And yet, these governors sit there and shrug. Governor Walz? I don't have first-hand knowledge. Governor Pritzker? It's been alleged. Governor Hochul? We cooperate fully. Cooperate with what, exactly? The Biden administration's open border policies that are letting these people in? Give me a break. Let me lay it out for you. MS-13, Tren de Aragua, Brown Pride, Barrio Azteca, Serenos, and the 18th Street Gang. These are not just gangs. These are terrorist organizations. They're not here to assimilate, folks. They're here to bring drugs, violence, and chaos. MS-13's motto is literally kill, rape, control. And these governors are giving them safe harbor under the guise of sanctuary. Sanctuary for who? Because it sure isn't for law-abiding Americans. Now, here's the part that really gets my blood boiling. Palmer referenced an NBC News report. Yes, even NBC couldn't ignore this one. About 400 illegal aliens smuggled into the U.S. by an ISIS-affiliated network. ISIS, folks, the same group responsible for countless acts of terror across the globe. And these governors claim they don't have direct knowledge. How convenient. If you're not looking for the problem, it's pretty easy to say you don't see it. And let's not forget the war on drugs. Or should I say the war with drugs? Over 100,000 Americans are dying every year from fentanyl overdoses. And where is it coming from? These same gangs that are being protected by sanctuary policies. This isn't just a drug problem anymore. It's a national security crisis. These aren't just overdose deaths. They're casualties in a war we didn't ask for, but are being forced to fight. Here's the kicker. Palmer did the math. If just half of 1% of the 14.7 million illegal aliens who have come here during the Biden administration are tied to criminal or terrorist organizations, that's more than the active duty forces of the Army and Marines combined. Think about that. We are essentially importing enemy combatants, and these sanctuary state governors are shielding them from ICE. This isn't just incompetence, it's treasonous. Palmer hit the nail on the head when he brought up 9/11. I never want to wake up to another day like that. And I know you don't either. But here's the scary part. These sanctuary policies are setting us up for another tragedy. When you refuse to let ICE pick up illegal aliens, you have no idea who they are or what their intentions might be. And with arms smuggling happening across the northern border into New York, it's only a matter of time before something terrible happens. Let me tell you something. This isn't just about politics. This is about protecting the American people. Sanctuary policies are a slap in the face to every law-abiding citizen, every Border Patrol agent risking their life, and every family who's lost someone to fentanyl or gang violence. These governors should be held accountable. They're not just failing to uphold the law, they're actively obstructing it. And Representative Palmer is right to call for charges against them. Enough is enough. Patriots, this is why we need to stay informed and speak out. Our Constitution, our safety, and our future are on the line. Share this video, comment below, and let me know what you think. Should these governors face charges? What do we do to protect our country? Let's keep this conversation going because the mainstream media sure won't. And remember, here at American Mindset, we stand for freedom, we stand for truth, and we stand for America. Until next time, stay strong, stay vigilant, and God bless the United States of America.